Good morning, guys. So yesterday, you guys got to watch the story Cloudette, which was a fiction story, of course, because it was talking about a cloud that was talking in a cloud's feelings. Well, today we're going to read our nonfiction reader that goes with it. So we're going to learn real facts and information about clouds. So our title says All About Clouds, and we can tell it's a nonfiction book too because it has a table of contents. Very good. So we have our introduction, our cirrus clouds, cumulus clouds, cumulonimbus clouds, stratus clouds, stratocumulus clouds, and then fascinated with clouds and the glossary. So introduction. If you have studied the water cycle, and we're going to be talking about the water cycle this week, then you know that after water has evaporated from the earth up into the sky, it becomes cold and gathers in the shape of clouds. Once these clouds become too heavy to stay up in the sky, they will begin to drop back down to earth, usually in the form of rain. People need to know if it is going to rain so that they can plan what they wear and what they will do for the day. This is where weather forecasts come in handy. Before television, radio, and apps, people used to use clouds to help them predict what kind of weather was on the way. We also need to learn about clouds because they are an essential part of understanding weather and our Earth. So clouds are very important. So we have cirrus clouds, high, wispy clouds that sometimes resemble a horse's tail are known as cirrus clouds. These clouds are made up of ice crystals. The name cirrus means a lock of hair, so it's supposed to look like a wispy lock of hair. These clouds appear between 18,000 and 21,000 feet in the air. Cirrus clouds appear not only on Earth, but on Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Cirrus clouds can be used to help forecast future weather. When they are just a few cirrus clouds in a blue sky, this doesn't mean any particular kind of weather is coming. But if there's a large group of them, it can be a sign of a large storm front on its way. So just few clouds, that's when it's nice outside and there's no particular weather coming. If there's a whole bunch of them up high in the sky, we might have a storm soon. Cumulus clouds. Cumulus clouds look like big piles of cotton balls floating in the sky. Children all around the world like to look for familiar shapes within the curves of the cumulus cloud. This type of cloud usually doesn't produce much precipitation. So that means any of the water or hail or anything that's coming down from it. But many times it can develop into clouds that have rain, snow, or sleet. Cumulus clouds are fairly low, with the flat bottom of the clouds only 1,000 feet off the ground. If the top of the cumulus cloud resembles a head or cauliflower and looks like it is growing upward, it is called a towering cumulus. If the cloud formation continues to grow bigger, it may become a storm cloud. So we have those high wispy clouds, and then the cumulus clouds, when they're white and just fluffy like this, that means that it's just great weather outside. But if they get bigger and form higher, that's when it turns into a storm cloud. And this is what it changes in. Cumulonimbus clouds. See how it built, look at the picture, built higher and higher. Remember that towering cumulus cloud? If there is enough instability in the air, that means it's not stable, it can develop into cumulonimbus clouds. Cumulonimbus clouds are thunderstorm clouds. In fact, they are the only kind of cloud that produce hail, thunder, and lightning. For this reason, they are sometimes referred to as the king of the clouds. Although there is typically heavy rainfall from this type of clouds, it happens in a short amount of time. So these clouds are going to, when your storm happens and it falls down really, really fast, like heavy rain. If there is going to be a dreary, rainy day, that is a different kind of cloud. Do you live in an area where you experience many quick but heavy rainfalls? Oklahoma does, especially in the spring. If so, it is usually during a certain time of the year. Why do you think that is so? Stratus clouds. This is when we're talking about those just rainy, dreary days. Stratus clouds look like gray blankets that cover the sky. These clouds are the lowest to the ground and produce light precipitation. So these are light, rainy days. The word stratus means layer because this is when it covers the whole sky. If you were to look at a stratus cloud from the side, it will look somewhat like a slice of lasagna. The clouds stack up on top of each other. Stratus clouds usually form when the weather has been cold and warmer air blows into the area. This is also the same way that fog is formed. Now, Stratocumulus clouds. So remember, cumulus are those big puffy ones. Stratus means a layer, so this is going to be a combined. It's going to be a layer of big puffy clouds. Stratocumulus clouds have characteristics of both stratus and cumulus clouds. It's like they're put together. They are low-lying but fluffy and lumpy. They group together in clumps or waves that can be anywhere from bright white to dark gray. These clouds are the most commonly found clouds on Earth, so it's usually that mix. Stratocumulus clouds usually form when stratus clouds break apart and tell us that the weather is changing. They can be found at the beginning or the end of a bad storm. Sometimes people think they are rain clouds, but it is not very common at all to see precipitation coming from Stratocumulus clouds. So it's usually that stratus cloud that has the light rain or the cumulonimbus where it's that heavy rain. Fascinated with clouds. Do clouds and weather fascinate you? Do you find yourself watching the weather report or tracking hurricanes as they charge across the ocean? Stick with it. You may have a career in environmental science or meteorology. Maybe that's the study of weather. In your future, we need lots of smart and creative people to help us come up with ways to keep our Earth healthy. Here are some ways that you can learn about weather at home. You can keep a journal with your daily observations. Remember, observations means what you see. Building weather tools. You can make like a weather vane so you can study the weather. You can make a rain gauge so you can measure how much rain we have. And reading about all kinds of science topics. Can you think about other ideas to help expand your knowledge about clouds and other aspects of weather? Remember, we can always do research online and look for things there too. And then we have our glossary. So instability is the opposite of steady or predictable. That means it's all over the place. When the atmosphere is unstable, that's when we have those highly charged storms. Meteorology is the study of weather. Precipitation is rain, snow, hail, or sleet that falls to the ground from the clouds, remember? And then predict is to guess, but it's a good guess. Like you think about the information that you know, and then you can predict what happens in the future. And then a storm front is a group of clouds that will produce strong winds and dangerous weather. All right, now that we've learned a little bit about clouds, I want to test your knowledge. So we're going to connect to Seesaw, and we're going to get to sort some pictures and see if we can match the different type of clouds to the different type of the name of the cloud. Are you ready? All right, so when you hit add response, you are going to see these descriptions of different clouds. So look right here, it says cumulus, puffy, flat bottoms, and low in the sky. And what you're going to do is you're going to pick the picture that you think belongs to it. So for example, if I think this is the cumulus, remember there's big cotton ball ones, I'm going to move it right next to it, okay? And then for stratus, and it tells you beside it, wide blankets of gray high fog clouds. So you would pick the picture that goes with that. Cirrus, white feathery highest clouds, and then cumulonimbus. And then what I've done is, if you look at the other slides, I actually put the whole book on the slide. So if you want to go back and look at the different pictures to match, you can match it too in case you need some help, okay? All right, great job, guys. See you tomorrow.